Lovely cascade.
Ooh, no smoke
Well,
heaven.
Mikado opens himself up a little bit too wide here, dropping down.
Oh my god.
Dealt with. See the dart line them all up, but Sacy, what more can he
The
find?
flank.
One kill
3-1.
down. Finds a second.
If he kills
left
less.
alone. It's a 1v2.
What?
And he knows where Aspas is.
God, Sacy! Sacy! No way! So today, I am wearing the same jumper that I did yesterday, but also we're going to take a look at Sentinels almost, very, very almost upsetting Loud. But before we dive into the game today, we need to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is the Valorant Gosu Academy. And the Gosu Academy is the best place to get better at Valorant because not only will you be getting coaching sessions from top tier coaches, they also have daily 10-man sessions as well, where you will be playing against people of a similar sort of experience in the game to you, and you will be getting coaching lessons and VOD reviews upon those sessions. It's basically like playing a ranked game, but it's actually enjoyable. Imagine that. And what's even better is that the first 50 people, 50, that sign up using the code TMV will get a month for free. A month of free coaching. You can join whatever sessions you want to. A month of free daily 10-mans that I guarantee you will be better than your ranked games. So go into the description or the pinned comment to go and sign up for the Gosu Academy today. You have absolutely nothing to lose, but potentially a lot of RR to gain. And to start off, we're actually going to take a look at round 4, but before we do that, we need to take a look at round 7 from Fnatic versus Sentinels, because Sentinels are going to run a same play that Fnatic did against them. Some of you might remember this play where Fnatic here, they're going to dart back here, they're going to send a breach stun, an aftershock down here, Dirk is going to dash up, put a smoke, and he's going to try and find a kill, and Bostra is even going to run up through short as well. And so I just wanted to kind of show you this because this is basically what they're trying to copy, right? So in goes the stun, in goes Durka just there. You see that we've got the dart landing just back here from Fnatic. And, well, now Durka puts down a smoke just here, and they get revealed, and, well, unfortunately for Durka, as he's putting down the second smoke and is getting ready to swing, unfortunately for him, Zekken is kind of right in that smoke with him, and so the plan doesn't work. But we've seen quite a few different teams run this similar sort of play now, you know, to mixed results. But Sentinels decided to go for it themselves here in round number 4. They have a Sova ult here as well, and so they're going to go for this same play. The only problem is, and maybe this kind of shows, even though, you know, the roles kind of on Sentinels, you know, we got Sacy back on Initiator and whatnot, and overall he had a great game. There was, I still think, some moments where, you know, maybe there was a bit of rust that he needed to shake off and whatnot. And I think that this might be one of them. I'm not 100% sure on this, but you'll see that the dart that Sacy does just lands here instead, which doesn't make a ton of sense, really, because they do this same stun, right? And Zekken's doing the same dash forward, and he's going to end up coming down here, and they're going to Sova ult back here as well. And so, like, this dart position doesn't make really that much sense unless you think that, you know, Loud are going to very quickly flood into this area, in which case Zekken's probably dashing to his death either way. Yeah, so I don't know if he just missed this dart, if, you know, this dart is meant to land back here and he just missed it. I'm not quite sure. But either way, it does kind of end up costing them a bit that Zekken, instead of, you know, as we saw with Durka, like these people were getting lit up, you know, those people are getting lit up like a Christmas tree. Instead, Zekken is kind of running into the unknown, and they do the same aftershock as well. So, you know, it very much looks like the same play. Now, what's happening kind of in response is Loud were actually kind of taking this quick A pressure. So before we saw Boaster was actually coming up here as well. And Marv did start towards, like, you know, coming towards it. But then when the Harbor Cascade comes towards him, he kind of has to, you know, stay back and retreat, not knowing quite what's in his face. And so what happens to Zekken is here, you know, obviously Marv is telling him that people are coming down towards A, that he can kind of hear the footsteps and whatnot. So Zekken just, you know, swings out. But unfortunately for him, you know, Les is just there. And then Les even gives him a bit of BM as well, just there at the end. And, you know, they don't get a kill off the Sova ult because, again, those people aren't getting pinged up by it at all. And so Loud kind of come in and just take the site. Now, whilst they're kind of messing around, and Tui's, I think, is trying to drop the spike so that Kawanzine can plant instead, because Tui's already has his ult. And he does pop his ult here, and he sends it towards Heaven there, which is a bit of a problem. I do think that this is, you know, one of the weaknesses of the Harbor Viper on this map is sometimes it can be a bit difficult to, you know, reliably smoke Heaven off. But in this instance, they used kind of this harbor ult to make sure that Sacy can't peek here, and then actually Tweez gets into kind of the underneath angle under heaven, and then angles his wall up like this, so he does actually cover it off, but obviously he kind of has to be right by heaven to actually do that, so there were still some problems. Whilst that's going on, Def has managed to push himself up as well, but he has destroyed Less's utility here, so Less kind of, is where, and then we get this kind of awkward fight, let's call it, there, but Less manages to win it, and then from this point on, really, for Sentinels, there's not really much to do. It's a 3v5, the round is kind of over, and so this was kind of an early sign of, like, Sentinels overall, and we'll get to it, did, I think, played, a good game. They pushed Loud really far, much further than I think most people were anticipating, but I still think there was little moments like this, which is completely understandable, where, that role swap back, there was still perhaps a bit of rust that they need to shake off in some of these rounds, and maybe sometimes it wasn't, fully, fully worked out, with all the role swaps and whatnot. But now let's come to Sentinels' attacking side, because for me, this is really where I was, a bit more concerned for Sentinels and just in general, because obviously on their defense side, you can perhaps rely on heroics and you've got really good players, and therefore, if those players just have some really nice moments, then, you can win some of these defensive rounds. But on attack side, you need that bit more coordination and whatnot. So I was a bit worried that, with Tens coming out and Marved coming in, that, and the role swaps, that, people might not be quite on the same page. But actually, I thought they had some pretty nice attack sides and had some pretty nice attacking rounds, particularly in the first two maps. But what we're going to see in this one is a Marved round. And Marved, to be fair to Marved, I mean, I know he likes to play this kind of, more lurking, kind of, it's kind of a solitary role somewhat, but I mean, he destroyed it. Starts off with Sadak just kind of walking down C long on his own, which is, is a risk, and Marv just punishes him for it. And Marv looked like he never left. Like, that's maybe someone where, if they did have a bit of rust and whatnot, you're perhaps suspecting that, they might lose that kind of fight, might get caught off guard by that kind of thing. But Marv was just chilling. He was just having a great old time. Now, they do dart into Garage, but don't destroy the turret. So, they put a smoke here, they put a dart in there, but they don't actually destroy the turret. So Les kind of gets that knowledge. But this is why a first kill can be so big. Because Pancata just caught a brief glimpse of a rifle here in mid of this double push, right? And Loud now are trying to make a play, right? They're in a 4v5, so they're trying to make a play. But because Pancata has just got a bit of a whiff of them trying to do this, basically Loud is just going to push into him, and he manages to get that kill. But when that's going on, now they start to drone down short, and, Loud get the idea that this is going to be an A hit. But our friend Marved has just walked on over towards C. So Sentinels go, okay, we'll come back towards C. Now, there is potentially some danger here, right? They'd already seen a bit of a mid-push, so you can see they're a bit cautious here, that, maybe someone else is still out towards mid, right? And they don't want to give away a free kill or anything like that. That could be a problem. But Marv is pushed all the way back here, and Loud start to get the same idea that, yeah, maybe they're coming towards C. And Marv just toys with his opponent a bit, gets a nice kill there, and then he's even going to win this fight. And really, he should not be favored to win this fight, even though a stun is coming in. He kills him even before the stun goes off. Yeah, Marved was just, honestly, I was very impressed. And we've seen, it can take time, for players to gel into systems and whatnot. I mean, Marved looked like he was playing yesterday. And yeah, it just looked like he never left. And this was a nice round from Sentinels, I thought, right? We saw the discipline that they could potentially have. We saw kind of, good realization, the comms coming in from Marved, finding that first kill, and then lurking down towards C, where the teamwork, was perhaps a bit better, honestly, than I expected. And now let's come to the very next round, round number 17. And one thing I've heard about Sentinels sometimes is that, oh, they only win rounds because, that someone went crazy, right? And this round is kind of no different, where Sacy, it was the clip at the start, is going to go crazy. The thing is, it's almost as if they got really good players. When Ashpass goes crazy for Loud, people go, wow, Loud are good. So I think the same could be said for Sentinels, where, yeah, they've just got good players. And, sometimes this will happen because they have really good players. And this one is kind of no different. It starts off with kind of a cool idea here from Sentinels. They run a fake, but it's actually a good fake. And you might hear a bit of surprise in my voice, but that is because there is surprise. Because a lot of fakes that teams run, I think, are kind of troll, where they just send someone in to die. And that person dies, and then they go, oh, man, we lost a 4v5. Crazy. Yeah. But this time, it's not so bad, because what happens is, they've got the Killjoy and the Astra over towards this side, and Zekken's going to run in, but he's going to get supported, right? There's going to be a dart, there's going to be an Astra suck, we got the Astra wall there, there's going to be a stun, right? It looks like a full exec, and, you know, essentially, there is enough util there to help this be a full exec. In goes a flash, in goes the dart, in goes a stun, up he comes, right? Astra suck there as well, shock dart even in as well, and he manages to updraft and get the first kill on Sadek. And then I also like this second part as well, where he then decides to play it safe and leave and not die. Smokes himself off and gets out, right? This is a really good round. And yeah, Loud do kind of figure it out. They're actually going to see these guys cross back across in a second, that this is going to be an A hit instead. But the thing is, Zekken becomes a big problem for him. You'll see it on the map. So these guys kind of see each other just quickly there. So Loud kind of know it's an A hit. Problem is, Zekken could be anywhere. Right, that's a problem for Loud in this round, and so you see Aspas kind of gets left behind to sort of deal with Zekken or try and find Zekken. You see he's just in garage, like looking around, right, as they got the A site and they get the spike down here, Sentinels. The thing is, Loud's retakes throughout the game at points are just kind of unreal, and this is honestly really no different. They just, I mean, starts off with the wall here, right, and the dog coming out. So they put this little harbor wall just kind of cutting this off, right? So there is no crossfires here, right? It's just for where these Sentinels players are, they're kind of isolated in little pockets. And so the dog comes out, and this is like a Navy SEAL team, where Les swings from heaven, which isn't smoked off, and manages to get that first kill just there. Then comes in the second harbor wall just there. And now, yeah, it's like a Navy SEAL team as they drop down. Les is dropping down. They find a kill as well on Marv there, trying to get a bit sneaky into what I like to call the Optic angle, because Optic used to love to play down here. So Marv's trying to get back there, but unfortunately he gets seen by Tuis as well. And so basically this was a 3v5 for all intents and purposes, and they managed to make it work. And now Sacy, though, just decides, well, I'll go crazy. Actually, Zekken is going to get caught here by Aspas eventually, coming on this flank. He's going to manage to get that kill. And so Sacy, for all intents and purposes, wins a 1v4, which is absolutely insane. And I mean, he doesn't know where Les is. I mean, clearly you can see he's aiming the wrong way. The pivot and the turn and the kill, crazy. And then he even manages to get Aspas as well. Sacy at moments was having a right game. I know I kind of criticized him in that first round for maybe being a bit rusty, but at times, he was absolutely frying. But ultimately, we would come down to the very last round, round number 24. And I talked about those Loud retakes. And, well, this round was no different. And it was kind of fitting that it did end here on a Loud retake. Starts off with Les with this interesting idea where he has a Judge and a Phantom. And that's because, actually, the video I did about Disguise, where they were doing that dart, Sentinels were doing the same dart, which I don't think covers that corner. So Les perhaps realizing that, you know, had a Judge ready to punish it, like we saw Ruston do as well for Oxygen. But Sentinels basically run the same exec that they did before with this Astral Wall on C, but this time it's the real thing, right? So it's the same kind of deal, but this time it's the real one. And they even go for a Sovereign here just to like fully confirm that they have kind of the site. You know, they don't want any kind of fast retakes coming in from Loud. So they send the Sovereign there, which does delay that. But now, as soon as the spike goes down, again, Loud, I mean, Aspas is on the other side of the map. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It feels like at times they could do this with just a harbor and a sky, and they'd be good. That's how good they kind of are at this, as you'll see. So they have this orb on the middle of the site as well, which obviously helps, you know, cut off the middle of the site, kind of really isolates Def here in this kind of position. And now the harbor ult comes out. And I remember when harbor first came out and everyone's like, oh, this ult's not that good. Well, Loud make it look like the best ult in the game. In comes the ult. In comes the harbor cascade coming down this way as well. They flash in behind it. Def gets caught by it, and he's having to move because of the harbor ult. And yeah, they managed to get that first one on him. Now they get the Seekers as well. Zekken's trying to make an aggressive play, but it's so difficult because now he's getting revealed by the ping. And so they see him, and so Toiz just spams him down as well. Kawanzine gets another one. The Seekers are going off. It's chaos. Marv gets it back to a 2v3, but you see he's completely blind and gets smoked off again. Aspas is eventually able to join in and manage to get that kill. And then we end up in a 3v1, and Toiz just is sticking the spike. And yeah, some of these Loud retakes are just different. You know, they're just different. There's just not much you can do, to be honest. And that was kind of a theme throughout. And Loud would win this game, but Sentinels did push them very, very close.